we're headed to some of the best places that you keep skipping in Disney Springs.
Hey there, Man Fam. We are here at Disney Springs for a progressive dinner this evening. And as a bonus, all of these spots are on the west side, which is the location of the new drone show.
Which we are also seeing for the first time this evening. There are so many places to eat and drink around Disney Springs, it can be hard to choose. And while we love heavy hitters like Wine Bar George, Homecoming, Polite Pig, and Jack Lindsay's Hangar Bar, these are a few of our more underrated favorites. So I'm thirsty.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, first up, we are nabbing some drinks. And while there are a plethora of really good options here in Disney Springs, we are stopping by CityWorks. Now, while CityWorks does have a pretty good selection of elevated bar food, one of the best parts about CityWorks is the fact that they have 90 beers on tap, with 30 of those beers being local, and I absolutely love that. You can also find some international brews on the menu as well. And while we might not always recommend this space as a spot to go grab a bite to eat, it is a great location if you have pickier eaters or if you just want to find a low-key space to grab a brew and watch a game. All right, our beers have arrived. I have picked up one of my favorite brews, the Oh My Gatos, from Homestay Brewing Company here in Winter Garden, Florida. This is their IPA, their coconut and citrus IPA. Molly, what'd you get?
And I got the Awake Coffee Blonde, because that's me. I'm an awake blonde full of coffee, much like this beer.
Nice.
It is a blonde from Three Daughters Brewing in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it is described to have a coffee flavor and a golden ale. So I'm excited.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good.
Perfection.
Coffee.
So I love coffee. Breaking news, by the way.
You've never heard it before. You've heard it here first.
I also love beer. And a lot of times beer with coffee notes is very heavy, like a stout, and it's darker beer and heavier beer than I personally like enjoying. I really like blonde ales. I really like a lighter beer. And this is a lighter golden ale, like a classic beer tasting beer, but it can distinctly taste like coffee as well. This is perfection for me.
And the Oh My Gatos is the flagship beer for Homestay Brewing. It's incredible every time. Pine forward. It's a classic IPA with that sort of pine hoppy taste, but you get a little bit like coconut on the back end, which is really, really nice as well. Very refreshing. A good sipping IPA, one of my personal favorites. And I'm just so thrilled that Homestay has made their way onto this menu. It makes my heart so happy. So
Homestay Brewing Company is a local brewery. Obviously, both of these are, but Homestay Brewing Company is actually where we had the first annual Man Fam meetup last year, and they are locally owned, some of them cast members, so it's really cool to see that they made it. And if you didn't want to try this beer already, what if I told you that the logo is a cat wearing a cowboy hat and twirling a lasso while riding an alligator?
does that make you want to try it?
Because it is.
You should want to.
Yeah.
Well, that is our first stop complete this evening.
Yes.
I really like CityWorks. It's such a neat spot. It has the widest variety of brews on Disney property. So for me, that's such like a very cool thing, especially with the amount that they support local.
I also like that they do have a grab-and-go bar right here. You can get things poured in to-go cups, so if you don't want to actually go inside and eat in the restaurant, you can grab something to go and then take it to go watch the drone show or walk around. And speaking of the drone show, if you sit on the far end of their patio, the bartender told us you can actually see the show from there. Now, that seating is not guaranteed. It is first come, first requested, but that is one of several places that you can try and sit and watch the new show.
And as far as the food goes here, I mean, it's not something that I would make extra time to try to sample. It's elevated bar food, so it's good maybe for your pickier eaters again, but not something I'd go out of my way for.
It's good if you want to go somewhere that you can probably get a reservation without too much of an issue, get a good beer that you probably haven't had before,
That's true.
and kind of feel like a more laid-back, relaxed environment.
It's very chill.
Yeah.
But for us,
It's time for dessert. Yeah, that's right. We're eating dessert second because we're grown-ups and can do whatever we want.
it's very dangerous.
I know. It's crazy, right? You know when you're a kid and you're just like, what's it being a grown-up like? I bet I can eat cake whenever I want. And then as a grown-up, you forget that you can literally eat dessert whenever you want. I did not forget today.
All right.
And where we're headed for that dessert first is Sunshine Churros. This is a third-party churro company that has a stand right here on the west side near the Big Balloon, as well as over in the marketplace near World of Disney. Now, what's cool about Sunshine Churros? Actually, a couple things. Number one, these are the best churros in Walt Disney World besides those at the Nomad Lounge in Disney's Animal Kingdom. For some reason, the classic churros that are in the Disney World parks are nowhere near as good as the ones in Disneyland. I actually asked once, and it has to do with like the weather and the humidity and the way they cook them. It's a whole thing, but Sunshine Churros has definitely figured it out. Number 2, they have a whole wide variety of churros. So if you want something a little bit unique and different, they have that for you, as well as a classic. And number 3, probably the best thing about Sunshine Churros is they're part of the Give organization, which means 50% of their net profits go to different charities and different charitable organizations. So if you needed another reason to eat dessert, there you go. All right, churros acquired. They have tons of different flavors. They've got dulce de leche, they've got strawberry cheesecake, classic, apple pie, but I went for the Fruity Pebbles churro. And one of the things that makes them so delicious is they're cooked right here on site, and then they are tossed in whatever flavor you get when you order it. So it's always fresh, it's always warm. And this is tossed in Fruity Pebbles sugar and topped with actual Fruity Pebbles.
Oh no.
It's literally so fresh, it's falling apart. There we go. The dough is nice and flaky and warm, not stale at all, which is unfortunately kind of what happens with the churros inside the parks a lot of times. I like the Fruity Pebbles on it because I do like Fruity Pebbles cereal, which kind of goes against everything I stand for with artificial fruit flavors, but whatever. I like that they toss it right then in-house with whatever sugar you're gonna get. It's a very delicious, very fun, and clearly very shareable snack. This is a little sweet for me, so I don't think I could eat this whole thing by myself, but I have a feeling it will not go to waste.
And I have the Oreo churro tossed in that beautiful Oreo dust with some additional of the sort of cream frosting on top. Oh my, oh dear, oh no. Okay, we're gonna dip it into our little side frosting here. Cheers. Yo. This is my first time having these churros. Hands down, outside of Nomad Lounge, the best churros you're gonna find on Disney property. Wow. So fresh, warm, a little yeasty. This one's surprisingly not super sweet. I'm not getting a lot of that sweetness. I think it's cut through with the chocolate of the Oreo dusting on the top. But even the frosting that has been sitting on my lip this whole time. I'm so sorry. But even the frosting isn't sickly sweet. Yeah, I'm a fan. Woo!
Delicious. Now, Allen's, I will say, Allen's was better. Having tried both, mine was a little too sweet, but Allen's was the winner. But I do love Sunshine Churros. My favorite one is the seasonal fall one. They do a pumpkin spice. That is delicious. Churros aren't my favorite dessert. I would prefer like a cookie or something, but if you want a churro, that's where you need to go.
I couldn't agree more. In a world of Disney Springs where you have tons of cookies, cupcakes, ice cream that you can get, if churro is your speed, this is the place to go, period.
But now it's time to eat dinner. We're doing everything in ridiculous order.
Yeah, it does feel weird.
But we have a very special dinner.
Well, let's go.
And for dinner this evening, we are headed to the signature restaurant Jaleo by James Beard award-winning chef Jose Andres. Now, we've been to Pepe, which is the quick service option here before, because that is a very underrated quick service location here in Disney Springs. And now we are headed to the signature sit-down dining. This is a tapas restaurant that is most well known for its paella. I've been here once before and was absolutely blown away by the food offering. So I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to be back here again. And if the food isn't enough to convince you, Chef Jose Andres is an incredible humanitarian. So it just feels good all around to come here and eat his delicious food.
And the reason this meal is extra special tonight, besides Jaleo being an incredibly underrated dining location here at Springs, we are doing the Dreams That Soar tasting experience. Dreams That Soar is the brand new drone show here at Disney Springs, happening all summer long. There are 2 shows a night. It takes place over the water here on the west side, and the best viewing is anywhere in between the giant balloon and Cirque du Soleil. Over 800 drones, 10-minute show. I have not seen it yet. Neither of us have. I am so excited. But as a free option during the busiest season of the year, you can imagine that viewing is very popular and very crowded. While you can get here early, you can fight the crowds. If you want to guarantee a good spot to enjoy the show, you can book a reservation at some of these restaurants right along this way that have outdoor dining. Now, it's not promise that you will get the patio at most of these places, including like Summer House on the Lake, which I do enjoy very much. But I have been told that if you buy certain things from House of Blues, you can sit on their patio. Here at Jaleo, they have a drink experience. It's $35 per person that allows you access to the patio and gives you a glass of cava, which is like Spanish champagne, or you can do what we're doing tonight, which is the tasting experience. So it's a hand-selected, curated menu by the head chef here that's going to showcase the best that Jaleo has to offer and give us seating for the drone show. So I'm really, really excited. The cool thing is that in all of Chef Jose Andres restaurants around the world, he has a bull wearing a matador mask, and they all have different names, and the one here is named Kopi Lily. Also, they've got the open kitchen where you can see them making the paella, and if you're sitting inside, whenever they're done, they ring a cowbell and all shout, "Paella!"
We've made it to our outdoor patio with Molly doing the good work of collecting the footage of the interior of the drinks menu. Now, the only way to access this patio is to book one of Jaleo's dining experiences, and I have to tell you, this looks to be a pretty incredible view.
So, like I was saying, the best views for the show from everything advertised is it's going to be over the water right here. So anything from the balloon to Cirque du Soleil is going to be your best bet. So if you don't want to reserve dining either here or Summer House where waterfront seating is not guaranteed, same thing at House of Blues, the best advice I have for you is to see the later show. The 10:45 show is likely to be far less crowded than the 9 p.m. show. But regardless, pack your patient pants because it's a free show at Disney Springs during the summer, so it's likely going to be very crowded right here.
All right, our drinks have arrived now. Drinks are not included as a part of this tasting menu, but we wanted to have a libation to enjoy this quite extensive 13-course tasting, as well as the drone show. Molly has picked up cava, which is a Spanish version of champagne, and I have picked up the Botanist Gin Tonic. Gin tonics are a staple of Spanish drinking culture, so I'm excited to have a taste of the region. Now, speaking of the tasting experience, this is a 13-course experience that takes you across the menu here at Jaleo. It's a great way to sample a lot of the different varieties of food that Jose Andres has to offer here at Jaleo. It is $79 a person, and my goodness, am I excited to dig into all of this. All right, so for the Botanist Gin Tonic, this is made with Botanist Gin, some tonic water, as well as orange, lime, and lemon zests added as well. I'm excited to try it. The Botanist Gin is incredibly herbaceous, but it's still really light and complements the citrus and tonic water really, really well. The Botanist is just one of my favorite gins, so when I saw it was on the menu, I had to try it. This is a classic gin and tonic, very citrusy, light, great sippable, and refreshing beverage. Could not recommend it enough.
Cheers. Cava is delicious. It's not quite as bubbly as like Prosecco. It's not quite as light as Prosecco, which is normally the sparkling wine that I drink. I do think it falls closer to like a more traditional champagne, but it's delicious. It's going to cut through everything really nicely. They also are really well known for their sangrias here. They have 4 different varieties of sangria, which I can also recommend. Also, course 1 is here.
Now, I should note, when I said 13 courses earlier, I meant 13 tapas-style items delivered to you. Now, here are our first 3 of those items. We have, going from right to left for me, the, oh boy, I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, aceitunas clásicas y modernas, which is liquid olives and stuffed olives with piquillo pepper and anchovy. Cono de sobrasada, queso de cabra de miel, which is spreadable cured sausage with goat cheese and local Florida honeycomb. And lastly, we have Jose Andres mejillones y escabeche y Jose chips. These are mussels in escabeche served with Jose's homemade chips. Okay, now escabeche is a method of preparing seafood or a dish that is sort of almost pickling in an acidic sauce, typically vinegar or a citrus. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm not normally a mussels guy, but I trust Chef Jose Andres, so I'm just going to go all in here on this. And it comes with a chip, so it's really hard for me to imagine this being bad. Cheers. Now, wait a minute. Oh. Okay, and then there's the seafood taste. What you start out with is really just this beautiful, light, acidic taste that's very refreshing, not super briny. There's a little brine to it. I think if you are texturally sensitive and don't like mussels, probably not going to be for you, but honestly, prepared this way, the texture doesn't really come in to be a factor. I think this is a delicious dish. I would 1000% order this again, and those chips are amazing. I would say even if you are nervous about trying mussels, this is the best way to do it. 100%.
I've never liked mussels in my life, and that's delicious. Whoa.
And for me now, we have a liquefied olive as well. This looks like it's going to be sort of a shooter situation, so cheers. Wow, that's so complex. Oh, wow. Okay, you start off with a burst of flavor, almost like a bubble tea style burst of flavor there of olive. It's really briny, but then it ends with this really light flavor of olive oil that's almost citrusy. Wow, that's really good. If you don't like olives, you're not going to enjoy that at all because it's almost olive in liquid form. But if you do and you are a fan, that's going to be right up your alley.
And I'm here to eat a meat and cheese cone. Meat and cheese is one of the reasons I love this restaurant and that I love the sister restaurant of Pepe. That Florida honeycomb was delicious, nice sweetness to break up the saltiness of the sausage. It kind of was like almost a creamed dip inside of the crispy cone between the sausage and the goat cheese. You've got a little bit of that kind of nuttiness of the goat cheese, rich meatness of the sausage, and again, cut by that honeycomb. I could eat 15 of those.
A little update for you. It is 20 minutes before showtime when the drone show will launch, and we have just received a notification that the west side viewing area, so around us, has reached its capacity. They opened up this viewing area 45 minutes before the show started, but people were in line well before that, so just know that when you're planning.
All right, course 2, our next 3 tapas have arrived, and this is the course of my dreams because it's the meat and cheese course. We are going to start with the pan de cristal con tomate. This is toasted slices of their signature bread, topped with fresh tomato. It is simple deliciousness. Then you've also got this plato de queso manchego pasamontes. I'm doing my best here, friends. It is sheep's milk cheese, nutty with a tangy flavor. And then here is one of the signature items. This is the jamón ibérico de Balota 5J cortado a mano. So this is one of the most famous meats in the world, is the Iberico ham. This is the free-range acorn-fed Iberico pigs, hand-carved right here in the restaurant. And I'm gonna do like a smorgasbord situation. Also, I'm having trauma right now because they're playing the song from Treasure Planet, and that scene is really sad. All right, got a little cheese, got a little meat, a little bread. It's all perfection. First of all, the bread is crusty on the outside, light on the inside. This fresh tomato on here has got a natural sweetness, and then you've got that nutty cheese, the salty ham. The ham is like melt in your mouth. It's like the filet mignon of cured meats. It's all delicious. If you come to Jaleo, whether to do this or just sit at the bar and have something, eat this because it is phenomenal.
All right, folks, so the next set of plates have arrived. And let me tell you, this is a ton of food, so, oh boy, let me tell you, I'm getting my money's worth in my opinion. We have here, closest to us, croquetas de pollo. These are the traditional chicken fritters. And we also have the buñuelos de bacalao. These are fried cod and potato fritters with a honey aioli on the side. We also have the endivias con queso de cabra y naranjas, which are endives with goat cheese, oranges, and almonds. And lastly, we have the ensalada verde. This is the green salad. It's a mixed green salad with heirloom tomatoes, papaya peppers, and sweet onions.
These are another of my favorites. Very underrated dish, I feel like. You have to love goat cheese, which I do. So you have to kind of love that nutty funkiness that comes with it. But it is so light, so refreshing. It's like a vegetable cheese taco is the best way I can describe it. And then I love the little crunch from the almond. These are A+.
Saving the chicken fritters for last, we're going to start with the fried cod and the honey aioli. Not at all the texture I was expecting. It's almost like a shredded cooked cod and potato that has come together sort of like a tuna salad-like texture that has been battered and fried. I think it's pretty tasty. You are going to taste the fishiness of the cod, but it's not like oppressively so. The honey aioli, though, A+. I'd put that on anything, and it would be delicious. I enjoy those. Not my favorite, but I really do think they're quite tasty. And now, the pièce de résistance, please.
Future Molly here. Clearly, this was showtime. The lights dimmed, so we were ready to watch the show when unfortunately an announcement came on that the show was being delayed due to winds. Don't worry, we're going to see the show in a little bit, but they did end up canceling the second show the night we were there, so just keep that in mind that there could be delays or cancellations due to weather.
One good thing that came from the delay, though, is that we got to try all the rest of the food, and I started with the croquetas, which were simply divine. They are rich, savory, creamy. You get some chunks of the chicken in there. These croquetas take 3 days to make, and it is 3 days of goodness in every single one.
Next, I tried the green salad, which had heirloom tomatoes, peppers, and sweet onions. This was a good salad. It was fresh. It was light. I liked the dressing on it, slightly sweet, but I didn't really need the salad amongst all this other food because it was a lot. We also got to try the paella mixta. This is paella with butifarra, which is sausage, head-on shrimp, chicken, and cepilla sofrito, which is tofu. The paella here is amazing. They're known for their paella. It is made authentically. It's got a ton of flavors. You can taste the saffron. I personally didn't care for the seafood portions of it, but the chicken was perfect, not dry. I think if you come to Jaleo, you kind of have to try the paella.
Next up was our dessert course, which was flan al estilo tradicional de Mama Marisa and pan con chocolate. Now I had the flan. This is a classical Spanish custard with an espuma, which is just a little bit of foam, of Catalan cream on top. This was the perfect texture. I know that for a lot of people, flan might be a little bit texturally off, but for me, this just hit. It was lightly sweet. It was very airy, and I think this is a really, really nice and light way to round out a very rich and filling meal.
And I tried the pan con chocolate, which was a chocolate custard with caramelized bread, olive oil, and brioche ice cream. Initially, it tastes like a very rich, almost chocolate lava cake, very heavy on the chocolate flavor. And then you get the crunch from the caramelized bread that has a very strong olive oil savory flavor. I don't think this would work for everyone, but as someone who doesn't love super sweet desserts, it definitely works for me. I like the mix of textures, and I liked the little savory element into the rich dessert. And then it was time to look towards the sky.
Is about to unfold, inspired by the magic makers, heroes, and dreamers who have come before. Disney Dreams That Soar.
I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. Thrusters!
Welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Dance off, bro!
There's a place beyond the sky where your stories come alive. Every leap of faith, find your spirit guide. Let's go, right where you wanna be, where the magic goes to the place where dreams come true. You can be you and the hero too. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This magical stuff somewhere in your heart. Let's go to the place where dreams come true. You can be you and the hero too. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. Just imagine where you go. Clear dreams that
Friends, thank you for joining us for Disney.
Waited for a moment for the music to die down and the lights to come on and everything so we could recap the drone show, but
That was phenomenal. I remember years ago when Disney was testing out drone technology here at Disney Springs. We came here, this was long before Mammoth Club, and watched it. And we're like, wow, that's cool. Maybe not where it needs to be technologically yet, but cool. And let me tell you, this blew it out of the water.
I mean, I'm a sucker for any kind of montage, anything with a good song, and the whole story is like that your dreams can soar, and that anything's possible if you let your dreams soar. So it's all like flying characters. So it's like Wally and Eva and Dumbo and the Up House and Buzz. And there's some really fun, less common characters, like the 3 good fairies from Sleeping Beauty, Baymax, Pegasus.
We also had a Death Star. That was enormous.
It's bigger than Spaceship Earth, I read online. And just the drones blow my mind. Like the way they did the Guardians section where it made it look like there were shadows cast on the wall, but it's just the drones.
This show is incredible. For a free offering
Wow.
at Disney Springs, it feels like a must-see. What a great nighttime. I'll call it a spectacular. It was spectacular.
It's awesome. Again, the area right here is gonna fill up. Our view was absolutely perfect where we were seated on the Jaleo patio. If you do not want to pay for something like this, I'm definitely gonna recommend the second show because it's at 10:45, which is pretty late for families with young kids. So I feel like if you want to see it and not reserve anything, that is gonna be your
That's the
ticket.
way.
But still line up. Be ready in the waiting queue area like 30, 45 minutes in advance, I'd say.
Treat it like you treat a parade or like a fireworks show at any of the parks or Fantasmic.
But wow.
So very good.
Wow.
Well, that brings us to an end of our experience and our progressive dinner this evening and that drone show.
What an incredible night here at Disney Springs. I do really think this is such a fun place to come, especially on like a check-in day or a non-park day, a pool day, and eat and drink and shop and just enjoy yourself. And I think the drone show is a perfect like add-on to make it more of an experience when you're coming here.
Absolutely. And speaking of the drone show, it's that time again, friends. It's a Don't Be a Jerk in a Theme Park PSA. You know, you're given walkways to stand in and walk on. And then there are beautiful pieces of plant life that have been curated by a horticulture team that you are intended to look at, not stand in. So please, do not stand in the non-designated walkways and parkways. Or like standing in the bushes behind us, for example. A team worked really hard on that. You wouldn't want me walking into your office and doing a tap dance on your desk and messing up your papers, so please don't do that on the horticulturer's livelihood.
Anyway, what was your favorite stop of the evening?
It's hard not to say Jaleo.
It's hard not to say Jaleo. As good as those churros were, and as much as I love the wide selection of beer at CityWorks, that $80 tasting menu is a ton of amazing food.
Oh, it's so much food. I think
So much food.
I gotta be honest, I underestimated how much food we were going to get.
Yeah.
I am incredibly full, almost uncomfortably
Yeah.
full at this point. So I think this is one of those times when I'm talking at Disney, I'm like, yeah, that $80 is worth it just because of how much food you're getting and the quality of food that you are getting as well.
Plus, sitting on perfect view of a show that ran out of room and didn't have to wait in line or anything for is a bonus on top. But the food's amazing. What I will say about Jaleo, if you are not interested in trying 13 tapas or spending $80 per person on a meal, Jaleo is an incredible restaurant, and I think it's very underrated. It just so happened to work out perfectly for this video where we wanted to both show Jaleo and the drone show, that there was an offering that let us do just that. But even if you're just looking for a great place to have a light bite, because you can just do a couple tapas, I think it's perfect for date night if you've got foodies and adventurous eaters, girls night. Like, it is a really good restaurant. I don't know that it's the most kid-friendly or picky eater-friendly restaurant, but if you are a foodie, I feel like it is like desperately underrated, both Jaleo and Pepe, and every time I've gone, the food's been amazing and the service has been amazing as well. And the last thing about all the places we went tonight, these are all places that are pretty easy to get access
Oh
to.
yeah, it's true.
Especially as we head into the busy summer months, there are gonna be restaurants that book up well in advance and there's no availability. Jaleo and CityWorks, pretty easy to grab spots at, and Sunshine Churros, pretty easy to walk up and get something and not wait in a long line. So they are all wonderful for many reasons, that being one of them.
Certainly worth checking out. But since we are in a food coma,
Correct.
we're gonna go home.
Yes.
Until next time, friends, please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you are new, follow us on all of our socials, and if you want to join with the Man Fam in the conversation about this or any of our other videos, please join us on Discord. We would love to have you. The links for all that are down below.
And until next time, friends, I'm Molly.
And I'm Alan.
And it has been so magical.
And I am so full.
I need to lay down.
Yeah, I need to be horizontal.
It's just on the couch with the dog.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.